Welcome to another FPL video ahead of Game Week 25. This will be the best free hit team for this double/blank game week, and I think the free hit is perfect for these sorts of scenarios where you have a mixture of doubles and blanks, but you could use the free hit maybe in Game Week 28 or 32, which will be even bigger blank game weeks later in the season, or another double game week like 29, 34, 37, or one of the smaller ones that we'll have in between all that period. So let me know your thoughts in terms of the free hit. When will you be using it, and do you disagree or agree with any of the picks that we're going to show you today? You can't cover absolutely everybody, and you can't fit in all these double game week players, and Liverpool and Arsenal are going to be really popular this week. There's only 3 slots, of course, for each team, so let's see what we can do with this free hit team video today. So if you end up enjoying it, be sure to drop it a like. Let's try to get this to over 300, and we're also looking to push on towards 20,000 subscribers. We made great progress, reaching 18,000 last week, so thank you very much, and we're already making a lot of progress since then, and we're on our way to 19k and beyond. So thank you for all the support, and without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. I'm a bit conflicted about the goalkeeper because Pickford hasn't been a good FPL option all season. However, since Sean Dyche has been appointed, that's 2 home wins out of 2. They've got that Villa fixture to start off Game Week 25, and that's where I'm expecting a potential clean sheet. Then away to Arsenal, anything Pickford can get is just kind of a bonus, whether it's 1, 2 or 3 points. That would be pretty decent on top of a 6 or 7 pointer against Aston Villa, and I think Everton have a good chance there of keeping a 3rd successive clean sheet at home under Sean Dyche. It's just the away games which would maybe concern me a little bit, and also if you go for a double up in Everton defensively. Jose Sarr is arguably a better FPL option overall than Pickford, but then the fixtures against Liverpool away and Fulham away don't fill me with confidence, and we are going for a back 4 here, and I wouldn't want to double up on Wolves defensively. So let me know your thoughts in terms of the goalkeeper. You've got Ramsdale and Alisson as well, but I'd rather go for the outfield players regarding Arsenal and Liverpool, not to mention some of the best goalkeepers in the game overall, like Raya, he's blanking, Nick Pope as well, and he's also suspended anyway, not to mention Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's away to Tottenham. So ultimately, I probably would go for Pickford or Jose Sarr, and my current preference is with the England #1. Let me know your thoughts on this one because I'm very conflicted. Apart from that, I think I'm very settled on the rest of the squad. The goalkeeper, though, doesn't fill me with confidence. The second one is Forster, who is obviously starting the next few games for the next 5 or 6 weeks, with Lloris being out with an injury, and Forster kept a clean sheet against West Ham at home, and now they're facing Chelsea at home. I would not be surprised if he kept one. So if you have the likes of Raya or Nick Pope or someone like that blanks in 25, then I actually wouldn't mind keeping them and starting Forster. It might be a bit different in the case of Nick Pope because he's suspended anyway for the next few weeks as well, but just something to think about. I wouldn't mind starting Forster this week, and I would not be surprised if Spurs get a positive result against Chelsea. Fulham have been on a roll recently. They're 6th in the table. They also have kept 3 successive clean sheets. So going for a defender like Ream or even Leno in goal, I think that's a good pick, even on a free hit in Game Week 25 with all these doublers like Everton, Wolves, Arsenal and Liverpool. And speaking of Arsenal, no Arsenal defender can be found. We're going to go for a triple up in the attack. I think it's really beneficial in this double game week. Going forwards though, and you'll see this in the best wildcard team, I would shape things and structure things a little bit differently. But in this free hit, I would go for a double up in Liverpool defensively. Going forwards, especially with that fixture against Man United in Game Week 26, I definitely wouldn't want to double up, especially with 2 defenders costing around 7 million in Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. But the upside is certainly there for double game week 25, and Liverpool have been impressive recently. I wasn't expecting them to beat Newcastle so comfortably. Of course, the red card did help things, but they were 2-0 up before that even happened. So I think Trent and Robertson looked really good in this double game week. And if you need someone a bit cheaper, especially if you're not using the free hit this week, I think Joe Gomez would be my favourite Liverpool defender other than Trent and Robertson. He's got bonus points potential. He's starting the games right now with Konate injured. The only doubt is if Matip comes in for a game, and Liverpool could rotate, especially with 2 crucial games in the Champions League against Real Madrid, and the Champions League is the only competition left where Liverpool have a chance of winning the title. So I would go for Trent and Robertson on a free hit. But we still have some really good midfielders and forwards to pick, and there's going to be some major absentees, which maybe some of you will disagree with. There are 3 midfielders in Game Week 25 which are standouts, and that I think all of us can agree are the best options, even for the captaincy, in Odegaard, Saka and Mohamed Salah, who will be the most popular transfer in double Game Week 25. The problem is that 4th or 5th midfielder. If you don't go for a double up in Liverpool defensively, then I think Cody Gakpo could be a really good option, but only for Game Week 25, and I would have concerns about him in regards to Jota and Firmino knocking on the door, and there could be rotation, especially with those crucial games against Real Madrid, and I would not not be surprised if Gakpo was benched in one of the games in Game Week 25. And also, when you're looking long-term for a usual transfer or taking a hit, I wouldn't be too convinced about Cody Gakpo. I've gone for Riyad Mahrez here currently because obviously we can only go for 3 Liverpool players, but is Mahrez going to start? That's going to be another big issue. I think he will in Game Week 25. I was expecting him to be benched in either Game Week 24 or 25. It happened in 24. City dropped points, and I expect him now to get back in the side despite a crucial game against Leipzig in the Champions League. But this will always be the issue with Riyad Mahrez. When the Champions League is around, he will be kind of rested and saved for that competition. But in the Premier League, his minutes could suffer as a result. But I always just go and see it as Mahrez is the most natural winger that City have. He's also the most informed player alongside someone like Haaland in the City ranks. So I think it actually makes more sense for him to get these starts here, despite the Champions League being an issue potentially. And I think he will get the nod against Bournemouth away. And if he does start, I think he can get a double-digit return and do really well. There's not much to discuss in terms of Saka and Odegaard. I think you could even put the armband on one of those. It's going to be a really tricky one, but I ultimately would look towards Saka or Salah for the armband, and I'll talk about this when I talk about my team, present it using FPL.team. But Odegaard is still worth consideration. He's better for bonus points than Saka. Despite Odegaard missing a huge chance, an open goal against Aston Villa, he still accumulated 3 bonus points because of all the chances he created, and he also put in a really good performance in the second half. But right now, with the current form of the last 4 or 5 game weeks, I think Saka is the constant for Arsenal. Even when they're playing poorly, like in the first half against Villa, against Man City, I still think Saka's the one that's dragging Arsenal through these games, and he is the one I would back right now in terms of FPL and the armband, not to mention he's on penalties as well, which is always an added bonus. Salah speaks for himself. I'm looking to get him into my team right now. He got an assist against Newcastle, a really well taken pass there for Cody Gakpo, and he's also shown some form recently with his performance against Everton as well, and I would back him as well. And I even consider him for the armband, which maybe a few weeks ago I was not really prepared to do so with Liverpool's form and Salah looking off it as well. But he does have these double-digit hauls in him. He did against Aston Villa since the restart, and Everton, and I think Liverpool are slowly getting back to their best, but we still need to see a bit more. But with this double game week, it presents a really good opportunity for free hitters to take the plunge and go for free. With normal transfers, would I go for a triple up in Liverpool? Probably not. I think 1 or 2 is the sweet spot with this double game week in mind. And if you're wildcarding in 26 or 27 anyway, then fair enough. You can take the plunge, go for a triple up. But going long term, I don't think I'd want that. But you may have a different opinion, and that's completely reasonable. The last midfielder we've gone for is Andreas Pereira. He'll be sitting on the bench mainly, but you could even start him against Wolves. I don't think he's a bad option. I probably will have him in my starting 11 if I don't use the free hit, and I don't really mind that too much. But with here, he's just a budget option. He'll be sitting on the bench, and just a kind of word of caution, we have a lot of money left in the bank after building this 15-man squad. You can use it to maybe upgrade certain positions or go for players that you think need to be included in this free hit team. As always, I encourage you to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, but let's complete the team with the free forwards. Although Nketiah has been misfiring in the last 5 games, if you include all competitions, starting with the Man City game in the FA Cup, I still think Nketiah is a good option, and I can see him scoring and starting both games in this double game week. A lot of Arsenal fans will point towards the fact that Nketiah should be benched, and a front three of Trossard, Martinelli and Saka could be viable. A dynamic front three where all of them can interchange. I think that would be beneficial as well for the Gunners, especially with Nketiah not offering much overall, but he still has those moments. He's always pressing. He offers a lot of energy. For the Odegaard chance where he missed an open goal, it was Nketiah who won the ball and set it up on a silver platter. And look, Nketiah has done a good job filling in for Jesus, but it's clear that at the moment he's off form, and I would also point towards a Trossard and Martinelli duo rather than one of them being benched. But I think Arteta will persist with Nketiah and he'll start both games. That's the most important thing, and as a result, I would recommend him. A lot of people will say, Darwin Núñez, where is he? Well, we've gone for the double up in Liverpool defence, and I would go for Salah. So that's what I've kind of opted for. I think that has the highest ceiling in Game Week 25, but Darwin Núñez is a decent option in this double game week. There's no doubt about that. He was spotted in training recently. I would expect him to maybe be on the bench against Real Madrid and then start in double game week 25. But will he start both games? Of course, there will be some maybe problems with that, with Firmino and Jota knocking on the door. However, Núñez is a good option. He's worth mentioning. The same goes for Ollie Watkins. Now, you probably will say, where are the Everton and Wolves midfielders and forwards? I hate to say it, but I just don't think they're that great. If I had to go for one of those those options, it would be Iwobi in the midfield with 7 FPL assists, but I just don't really trust them, to be quite frank. If you look at the Wolves points for their forwards, I think the highest scoring forward has like 12 points. It's absolutely ridiculous like that, and I just wouldn't trust any of these Wolves or Everton forwards, especially with Calvert-Lewin being out once again. So I think Eddie Nketiah is just the safest with the double game week, and he's also going to start both games, and I can see him scoring a goal or two, maybe even more potentially, but I think 1 or 2 is probably the target, and that would be a pretty decent return. Haaland speaks for himself. He's always going to be in here, despite his poor performance against Nottingham Forest and missing several key chances. And Nonto's facing Southampton at home, and he's just going to be sitting on the bench, but he's just a decent budget option. Overall, I do prefer Brennan Johnson or even Ferguson in terms of those around 5.5 million and below in the third forward slot, if you are looking for that indeed. But I've gone for Haaland and Nketiah. They'll be starting, of course. And now let's go to FPL.team, show you the captaincy and the order of the bench. If you want to visualize your transfers or how your team looks like in future weeks, be sure to use FPL.team. That's all you need to type on your browser, and you'll be able to see this and plan your moves accordingly. It really helps out, and I think it can actually make a real big impact in your FPL season, give you those green arrows that you are seeking. But what's important is the starting 11. We've gone for a 4-4-2 with Pickford in goal, Trent, Robertson, Tarkowski, and Kilman as the back line, Salah, Mahrez, Saka, and Odegaard as the midfield 4, and then Haaland and Nketiah up front. Now, whilst you have some good single game week options for the captaincy, like Haaland and Mahrez if he starts, I would go for an Arsenal midfielder or Salah, and my current preference is with Saka, who's been so consistent all season, but even in recent weeks where Arsenal have tailed off a little bit. And as for the bench, we've gone for Forster, Ream, Andreas, and Nonto, and you could order that in any way you want, really. It's quite a difficult conundrum there, but I've gone for Ream first, as I am backing maybe a Wolves clean sheet, and also Fulham clean sheet, and 0-0 is actually real possible, and Andres is still decent as an attacking option as well. But what's important is the starting 11, and if you're not really confident of Mahrez starting, you could go for a double game week option, and as a result I would recommend Iwobi, but I'm not a big fan of these Everton and Wolves midfielders / attackers. And you could go about things differently with maybe one Liverpool defender, then going for Gakpo in the midfield or Darwin Núñez up front. Maybe you prefer that, and that's completely fine, but I think for the game week 25, Robertson and Trent will be the highest scoring Liverpool players besides Salah, and that's the main reason why I've gone for this. And the captaincy is very difficult. Over the course of the week, I might change my mind and go to Salah, especially after seeing the Liverpool versus Real Madrid game on the Tuesday, but let's wait and see, and maybe that game will give me more confidence in going for Salah, who will maybe be more of a differential in terms of ownership, effective ownership, and the captaincy. But ultimately, I think Saka and Salah will be the most popular captaincy options this week, and I want to see your thoughts. Who do you prefer at the moment for the armband? Leave it down in the comment section below. I'm currently going for Saka, but I may change my mind, and be sure to check out the team selection video. I'm also looking to bring out the transfer tips and also the best wildcard team video before the deadline stream on the Friday. It's going to be a Friday deadline, so be sure not to forget that. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's try to get this video to over 300 likes. Let's also push on towards 20,000 subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and you can become a patron or a channel member, patreon.com/DylanRCM. You can become a member for as little as £3 per month and get exclusive early access to my videos and all my team reveals and much more. So be sure to check that out. The same goes for the Discord server and the FPL League. Thank you to all channel members, everyone who sends in super chats and also super thanks in the videos, which you can do as well. That's all I can really say. Thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting the channel, all the subscriptions, and we just keep on growing every year, and I do very much appreciate it. It's a blast talking to you in the streams and also interacting with you in the comments, and also making these videos. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy the football as always. I wish you all the best for the rest of your FPL season, and I'll see you next time.